Hello, hello. Today we are going to chat about audits and what that means, how to do a self audit, and kind of like when and how I do them. Because I've been talking about audits probably for 5 years now. And here's the thing with audits is they can be super, super, super helpful, but they can also be discouraging, right? Or they can be you lying to yourself. And here's the thing is it's really easy to look at your page and be like, yeah, I would know I'm a thriver, right? But that's not the point of an audit. The point is like a third party, like not you already knowing you're a thriver, but hey, I'm somebody brand new coming to my page, never viewed before. Would I know? Okay. And that's kind of the aspect that and how I kind of my rule of thumb for doing all of my audits is would I know in my stories that I'm a thriver? Would I ask me questions on it? Would I know in my bio that I'm a thriver? What about on my highlights? What about my posts and my reels? Like, do I have to scroll on Facebook for 5 minutes before I see a Thrive related post or opportunity? Right. And so a lot of times when I first started growing, I was doing self audits once a week. And the reason I was doing self audits once a week, and I'll kind of walk you through a self audit for Instagram and for Facebook so we can kind of do this together. But the reason I did a self audit once a week is because I wanted to know if I was really doing what I was telling myself I was doing. Because it's really easy for us to say, I'm doing all the things, I'm doing my IPAs, I'm posting, I'm in my stories, right? But then you go and you look at it and you're like, oh, like, yeah, I was in my stories, but all I did was show my capsules. And then I put up a graphic and that was it. So were you really in your stories? Yes. But were you really working in your stories? No, you were just putting things up to put them up because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Except for that's wrong. I don't want you to just do things because that's what you're supposed to do. I want you to have intention and value behind it. And that's where these audits really, really helped me is learning how to tell when I was just throwing things up and being surface level versus being intentional and sharing. So I want to suggest that you today do a self social media audit, and I'm going to give you some things to change and or edit or add into your routine. If you are struggling in that aspect of it. And here's the thing, I grew my entire business on social media. So you will never, ever hear me say that you need thousands of followers to hit the top of this company. I went 200K with less than 300 followers on Instagram. I didn't have a preset. I didn't so here's the thing, all the things that I've learned of what got me from 200K to this massive business that we have today, this massive team that we have today are all of these things. So when you implement them and you are consistent with them, and that's the key thing is that consistency, that's where your business is built and that's where it continues to grow. So let's start with Instagram because right now, Instagram is a really big platform for growing. And I personally grew to 80K on Facebook alone, never really touched my Instagram. I did it all on Facebook through relationships and sharing and being bold and going live. I was live on Facebook in the beginning, like every single day doing my products and talking about them and doing like opportunity Facebook live. So every single week. So when I tell you that you don't have to have all the answers, you don't have to know exactly what you're doing, you just have to do the things. That's what I mean, because I just recently, within the last 2 years, started taking Instagram serious. And that was kind of where that turning point in my business came from. I'm just a 200K to, wow, this is massive. And my enrollments, and I hit being a top enroller. And that was when I was utilizing both. Okay. So let's start with Instagram because that seems to be kind of, if I'm being completely honest, it's where I get most of my interactions, most of my engagement, most of my conversations, most of my enrollments come from Instagram. So first and foremost, I want you to see what your username is. And here's the reason why is if your username is like Hello Kitty 78, Your pages are your brand, okay? Your brand needs to be you. Your name is not Hello Kitty 78. So my biggest suggestion is going to be to you is to utilize your name as your username. And here's the reason why. Mine used to be Lindsay Reed. Reed is my middle name, and that was what I went by. As a nurse, I never had my last name on anything, just for safety from like the hospital and just stuff like that with the people that were patients of mine. So for me, I always use my middle name. So I branded Lindsay Reed. Now it's Coggin, right? I'm no longer a nurse. I'm no longer in the hospital. So I use my last name. So everything is Lynn's Coggin or Lindsay Coggin. So I need you to understand the importance of branding yourself. And here's where it starts, is that username. And I know some people are like, well, that's so silly, but you need to be searchable. And Hello Kitty 78, nobody is going to know to search. Say that you were me and they were searching Lindsay Coggin, but your name was Hello Kitty 78. They're not going to put the two and two together. And that's also something that people don't really, when you go to follow them, they're more likely to think it's not a real account versus your real name. So make sure that your username is your name or something with it in there. But short, sweet, to the point is always best, personally, and when you are branding yourself. The next thing I want to talk about is an updated bio. If you have not updated it and it's blank and there's absolutely nothing in it, we need to add some things. A couple examples that I love for a bio is think of your fives. Think about who you are, what you want to do with this, and what your intentions are. I know I'll use Rochelle, for example, because I recently helped her update her bio. She had in there like military wife, military mom, like 3 different ways, 3 different times. And I was like, okay, we only need to say this once, right? And then she's obsessed with shopping hauls. So we added that in there because she was doing those on her social media. And then also that she helps other military wives create options and moms create freedoms, stuff like that. So we added in stuff like that. So my best thing to you is, if you are so stuck on a bio and what to share, go and look at some of our leaders and see what they say. Obviously, don't take somebody's bio word for word, because you aren't them and you want this to be around you and your fives, but you can kind of see how they utilize it and how they word it. The next thing I want you to have in your, when you edit your profile, there is a space for a URL. And a lot of times people ask me, they're like, well, what do I put there? How do I put my sample link? How do I put my website? So I want you to create a link tree because they're free. It can be Milkshake, Linktree, honestly, any of those link sites. So if you have a milkshake, keep the milkshake. It doesn't matter which one it is. I personally just use Linktree. So that's the one that I always just suggest. But I want you to go on to it's a website, Linktree, create a free account. You don't need to pay for it. The free one is the one that I use, and it is perfect. And I have in there my Facebook link. I have in there my YouTube link. I have in there my sample link, how to become a customer, my promoter link, our income disclosure. I have those things in there because it's a one-stop shop. So for me, if somebody asks me a question, they're like, how do I, or if I'm doing a reel and in the caption, I want to say, request a sample, click the link in my bio, they can go to the link in my bio and do that. Or if I'm running a promo for people who create accounts, I can say, click the link in my bio, create a customer account. And it's all the same thing. And I'm not switching out links. And it's also a one-stop shop for, as people are coming to your page randomly, they're able to click on it and explore it and see. And so that has been a huge thing for samples for me personally. And some accounts have been created that way. And I've been able to reach out to them and help them place their orders from there. So that is huge. But then the next thing that I want you to look at for your audit is your highlights. And like I said in the last video, in the last couple videos, is we're going to be working on highlights. So this week we did our 3-step system highlight. We did an opportunity highlight. Next week, what we're going to, or we'll, within the next couple of videos, what we're going to do is a sample highlight and stuff like that. So eventually at the end of these 30 days, you will have your highlights set up, but I want you to look at your highlights right now and see if they have anything to do with your bio or anything to do with your fives. If you're putting in your bio that you love to do shopping hauls and you do them in your stories, but you don't have hauls or links for stuff that you buy in your highlights, you're not allowing people to continue looking past your bio. Again, I'm going to use Rochelle as an example because I set her up this way is she loves to shop at Target, and every single time she does a Target haul, people are constantly asking her for links. And I'm like, so why don't you have a Target highlight? And then when you buy something or you showcase something, you can, and you put in your stories, you can literally say link in my highlight, and it causes people to go then look at your highlights from the last time you shared the link. And it also gets people used to clicking your page and shopping from you, whether it be just links to other website or links to Thrive, right? You're setting yourself up for your brand to where people know that they can shop from your page when maybe you're not even in your stories. And that's the beauty of highlights is for me, I have a collagen, I have a post gym, I have gut health, I have samples, I have elite, I have my postpartum journey. Like I have so many different options in there. And weekly I get people that message me that never messaged me before, don't follow me, but they probably found me from a reel, or God knows how they found me, who knows really. And they clicked my page and they watched the highlight and they had questions. So they responded to the highlight, which is an older story. So it went directly to my inbox and I was able to have the conversation and help them that way. So your highlights are things that are shoppable when maybe you're not actively, like when it's 2 a.m. and you're not up working, right? Because if it's 2 a.m. and you're working, like we got to chat. We got other issues besides this boot camp, right? Like we got to talk of why you're up at 2 a.m. doing busy work, right? So for me, I would rather it just be people are able to shop from my page at 2 a.m. So the next thing I want to talk about in our audit for Instagram is I want you to go and I want you to watch your stories. And here's the beauty of stories. Whenever I do audits on people, I always laugh because whenever I go and I watch their stories, I say like, hey, like I wouldn't know you're a thriver. They're like, well, yeah, it's still 9 a.m. Like my stories aren't up. And I'm like, okay, but stories are 24 hours. So at any given time, someone should be able to watch your story and be able to see that you're a thriver, or be able to ask you a question about your products, or be able to know about the opportunity, or be able to request a sample or whatever it may be. So it doesn't matter if it's 9 a.m. that you're looking at your story, because you have from yesterday at 9 a.m. till right this second of all your stories that you did yesterday. So this is why I love to start in the stories when it comes to content audits, is because if you can't ask you a question about the products, if you can't request a sample from your stories, if you don't know about the opportunity and there's no like interaction part within your stories in the last 24 hours, and you are asking yourself why your inbox is dry, that right there is why it's dry. It doesn't matter if you post 37 times a day. A lot of times people don't see posts. And if you're not utilizing something to create conversations, AKA your stories, then that's why your inbox is dry, is because you're not having that ability for people to actually create relationships and build your community from that. So I want you to look at your stories when we are done with this and ask yourself those questions. Would you join you? Would you be able to request a sample from you? Would you buy from you? Would you ask you questions? And if the answer is no, and they can't tell that you're a thriver, or then you need to switch that up, right? And add some new. But on the other hand, I want you to also look at it this way. If it is just straight Thrive graphic after graphic after graphic, only Thrive, zero life in there, then you also have to ask yourself, are you too bold? As in, are you less human and more a Thrive bot in your stories than needed? And I know it's like a tricky like middle ground, but for me, I save myself by sharing my life. And I think that a lot of times people fall short on that sharing their life aspect because they think that they're quote unquote boring. But here's the thing, like if you watch my stories, I'm not jumping out of airplanes. I'm not like on extravagant like vacations or traveling. Like I'm literally watching my son play, right? And I have videos of him riding his scooter, or I'm walking to the mailbox, or I show Paxton, who's 5 months old right now, right? If you're watching this live, I don't know, it's probably 6 months by the time you're watching this, but the time I'm recording, he is 5 months old. So I'm like showing him giggling in his little Docatot, right? Like there's things that I share throughout my day because that's what my day looks like. I don't try and make it anything that it isn't. And that's what makes me relatable. So that's the other side of sharing, is you still have to add in those little things for your stories. Okay. So we did our username, we did our bio, we did our link tree, we did our highlights, and we did our stories. So next, the final two things of Instagram that I want you to look at on this self audit is I want you to go and I want you to click the last time you made a post, like an actual post with a caption, a picture. And if that was not today or yesterday, if you're watching this in the morning, if that was not yesterday, then today I want you to make it a habit to make a post. Like I want you to make it part of your routine to get a post up around your fives, whether it be fives for Thrive or fives personal. I want you to get a post up, because here's why I utilize posting and reels equally, is because reels bring people to your page, posts keep your audience that are already following you, already see your stuff, engaged, and then stories sell it for you. Okay. And I talked about this, I want to say yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah. Sharing your stories was yesterday. So I talked about how you use your stories to sell, but reels are bringing people to your new eyes and new people to your page, and posts are keeping them there with your stories. So for me, I utilize all of that equally. And I know it probably is very overwhelming and sounds like a lot, but I promise that once you start getting into the habit of content batching, y'all, I don't sit down every single day and make a brand new reel and a brand new post for that day. I batch my content weekly. So that's why we do these Sunday planning and batching Zooms, is so that way you understand the importance of batching those reels and creating that content ideas, so that way you're ready to go daily. And if you're not, then we got to get you planning and we got to get you batching, because that is going to be a game changer for your business, 1000%. And then the next thing I want you to do is I want you to look at the last reel that you did. And I want you to ask yourself, would you follow you or click on it based on what you shared? And something that I love about reels that I love to do, and I am going to do a video on reels, so I'm not going to get too in depth into this, is I love to do clickbait for my my cover. And it's something that I just recently started doing, and it has been a game changer for my content. Okay. And here's my thing. Think about it. When you are scrolling Facebook, how often do you see clickbait on ads, right? On like magazines and stuff, like so-and-so cheated, so-and-so left, so-and-so got fired, right? And it makes people want to click because they're like, oh, what happened? And then it's like, they click the article. So now they're reading and now they're engaged. Well, that's what I do to my reels. I make it clickbait for the products and clickbait for the opportunity. So this month I've been sharing a lot of my before and afters, and I will literally make my cover photo like 4 months down 60 pounds with my before and after. So that way when people are scrolling, it's something that catches their eyes and they click on it and it's about the products. Or I'll do something about network marketing in general. Like, let's see, this week I did one where it was like user 3786 said, get a real job. And then I put underneath it, my fake job pays me more than your real one, right? That's clickbait, because people are going to click it to see what the heck are you talking about, right? Or people in this industry are going to click it because it's sassy and it's bold about the industry, not necessarily about Thrive, but about the industry. So it's going to pull people in to be like, well, what does she do? So that's what I love to use as far as cover photos. I've been asked that a lot because a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know what to make my cover photo. Well, you can make it a picture that matches your page, or you can do clickbait, whatever's easiest for you from your your content. Okay. So that's an Instagram self audit. If you have not posted in 3 days, we got to get you posting every single day. If you have not shared in your stories about anything, we got to get you in your stories. If your username is not your name and you're not branded to you, we got to get you there. If you don't have highlights by the end of this entire boot camp, if you do the whole thing, you're going to have highlights. So we're going to slowly start to get your page working for you. And each of these things that I talked about on Instagram, they will work for you while you're sleeping. Maybe not the first month, right? But they will continue to work for you. I have reels that I posted a year ago that are still now working for me, and people are messaging me off of those because the sounds are circling back to be retrending, and people are clicking them and they're using my ideas and they're messaging me off of them. Okay. So you have to remember that it might not be the content that you do today that works for you today, but it might be the content you do today that gives you mass enrollments in 3 months from now. Okay. So you have to remember it that way. So that's how I kind of look at my Instagram. And that's what I want you to do. Now, Facebook is very, very similar. For me personally, two birds, one stone. So, for me, I always like to do, where I like to, whatever I post on Instagram, I post on Facebook. I have my stories connected. So whatever I post on my Instagram stories goes to my Facebook stories. I don't have my posts connected, because if you connect your posts, it tells each platform that you're a robot and it won't push your content out. And on Facebook, it looks funky where they have to then click on it to then go read it on Instagram. And to me, I don't want people to have to click on something just to read my post. I want them to be able to see it on the actual platform that it's on. So I copy and paste every single post that I make from Instagram over to Facebook. My stories automatically go through. From there, I look at my page and I make sure that my cover photo, like right now, it's a picture of my family. And it says the Coggins. Before, it was a picture of my family with all of our dogs. Like I make it around my fives. My fives are all around my family. So it's normally my cover photo is my family. From there, I used my Instagram picture, which is me on a background, like just a colored background. I did that on Canva, but you can do that. You can remove a background if you don't have Canva Pro. You can do it on the website. Hold on, it's my phone. It's remove.bg, and I will put that in the chat. And if you're watching this not live and it's on the replay and you don't know what bg is. So remove.bg for background, right? Ask in the Telegram chat that you're in, and we can send that to you also. But here's the thing. Remove a portrait. So say that this is my picture, right? And I smile. Well, I would then put that picture into this website, remove.bg, and it would remove the background. So it would just be my silhouette without all of this in the background. From there, I would put that into Canva on whatever color background and then use that for my profile picture. Now, do you have to do that? Absolutely not. No, you do not. But for me, it brands my colors, which right now, because I have this fun purple hair, is my branding colors are purple. So I have up there purple, so it's very vibrant and bright, like my hair. So if you are somebody like me where you have branding colors and you like the look of that, then you can do that. And it's super simple. And I have the same picture on Instagram that I do on Facebook. It's the same for my profile, or just put a picture of yourself with the background. I've had this as my background on my profile before too. So it's really up to you, however you want it to be, but it does need to be a picture of you, not your avatar, not a sunflower, not a Hello Kitty. It needs to be a picture of you because you're a real person and people join people. So if either of your profile pictures is not a picture of you, we got to get a picture of you, not your avatar, not a graphic of you, like an actual picture of you. And that's huge. That's like a non-negotiable. It needs to be a picture of you. Okay. And then next from there, I move down and I look at my posts. And Facebook audits are a little bit different than Instagram because Facebook, it doesn't have all those like highlights. It doesn't have all that like that extra fluff at the top, right? You can have a bio in there. My bio is the same that it is on Instagram. So if you do want to add a bio into your Facebook, pull whatever you did on Instagram and put it into your Facebook. Do you see how I'm doing two birds, one stone here? It's whatever I do on one, I do on the other. So my Facebook audit, I scroll and if I don't have a post that within my first 2 seconds that grabs my attention about Thrive, I know I need to get bolder and share. Because here's the thing, Facebook allows you to have a pinned picture at the top. I circle mine out or a video at the top, right? A couple months ago, I did an opportunity video and that was up there, right? And so it allowed people every time they came to my page to hear me talk about the opportunity. My one right now, currently in December of 22, is one of me talking about this new year, one of me talking about this boot camp and how you can change so much about your life. It's just basically an opportunity post. So I always keep an opportunity post up there pinned. So that way, when someone comes to my page, it's not like they're scrolling to see what I do. They can literally see it in that very top post. But if you don't have something like that bold, it shows you that you need to start sharing bolder about Thrive and talking about Thrive. And here's the thing, you have to use your voice in this industry. If you don't use your voice and if you're not sharing, who's going to share it for you? who's going to have people buy from you and join your team if you're not sharing the information. So that's probably the biggest thing when it comes to the audits is it's going to show you when you're sharing and when you're not. And maybe it's going to also teach you that you aren't sharing as boldly or as loudly as your brain is telling you that you are. Because that was always an issue for me personally, is I would get in my head and I would tell myself I'm oversharing Thrive. And then I realized, like, there's really no such thing. Like, it's not like I'm cold messaging. Like, if somebody doesn't want to talk to me about Thrive, then they just don't message me about Thrive. Like, I'm still sharing the boys. I'm still sharing my life. I'm still sharing my family. Like, I'm still making non-Thrive posts, but my Thrive posts are very bold, because to me, if I'm holding back information, how is somebody supposed to know? And how is somebody supposed to message me if I'm not cold messaging them? Right. And that's something that a lot of people struggle with when they switch companies or they join our team, because I won't teach you to cold message and I won't send you scripts and I won't do all those things. So a lot of times they're like, well, I feel like I'm not working hard enough and I don't know what to do. Like, should I be doing more IPAs? No, you just need to be bolder in your content, bolder, and share your story and more intentional, because the bolder you are, the more intentional you are, the more that you share is the more times that people are going to ask you questions, because they're reading your content. People are reading it even if they're not liking it or commenting on it. They're going to message you eventually. One thing that you say is going to click for them and they're going to message you. So you are blocking yourself by not sharing. And that's what these audits taught me, and I hope that they teach you, is that once a week when you go in and you do your audits, especially during this boot camp, to show you the difference. And as you're watching your insights grow as you do this boot camp, I want you to look at that and really pay attention weekly as your insights are growing, and see those changes that you're making that are growing your insights. So today, for your assignment, I want you to do a social media audit. I want you to find 3 things that you want to change about what you've been doing for your content, whether it be that you actually want to start doing it, right? Whether it be that you are changing your profile picture, whether it be that you are changing your username or your cover photo. I want you to do 3 things that grow your brand a little bit more. And if you are confused about what 3 things to do, message me. If you are doing this live, if you're watching this on the replay and you're confused, I want you to reach out to your enroller. If you're not doing this live in January of 2023, then I want you to message your enroller and tell them that you need help with the social media audit. But if you are doing this live right now with me in January 2023, tongue twister there, then I want you to make 3 changes with this social media audit. And here's the thing. Every single person can make 3 changes, because every single time I do a social media audit, I can personally make 3 changes. I just did one on myself last week and I ended up changing my bio because I wanted to switch it up and rearrange the wording and not have what it had in there, but like switch it up a little bit, right? I also changed my profile picture. I changed my highlight covers. I did stuff like that, and I made sure and I wrote down notes that I wanted to add for my highlights. And then I also changed my pinned post on my Facebook. So 3 things. And then your other homework besides that is to offer a sample graphic in your stories and put your sample link on there, whether you want to send them from your personal stash or directly from the sample mailouts. I always use my sample link because it gives you all their information right there to then mail it out yourself or approve it for the company to do it. But then you can create their customer account either way from there. So I want you to post in your stories today offering for samples. And here's the thing. If in 24 hours you don't get a single person that wants a sample from you, we're going to talk about that tomorrow, of what we're going to do on top of what we did today to kind of switch things up and see where we're at. But moving forward, let's get our IPAs done. Let's get that sample post in there. Those 3 changes of an audit that you want to implement over the next week. Again, you don't have to do it all today. I know that's a lot to do in one day. So just write down and pay attention to what you want to change from your audit. And during the next month, we're going to do an audit once a week. So I hope that is something that this helps you with and that you can utilize. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Get that homework done, because offering that sample is going to make sense tomorrow when we add to our highlights with that assignment. So talk soon. Bye, guys.